Okay, here we go. We're doing section 7.3. Now remember the steps that I typed at the top of 7.2. We're going to use those again. And step 1, hopefully you remember, is get rid of any parentheses. And then I told you the way you're going to do that is you're going to use your distributive property. So you can see we have to do that in example 1. So first thing you have to do is don't be adding the 7 and the 2. That's totally illegal. We need to distribute this 2 through my parentheses. So the 7 stays there, plus 2 times y is 2y, minus 2 times 3 is 6. Right-hand side stays the same because there are no parentheses. Step 2 of our procedure was combine any like terms if possible. Well, look, on the left-hand side, I have a 7 and a negative 6. I can combine those to get 2y plus 1 equals 6y plus 3. So I just combined the 7 minus 6, and I got a plus 1. Okay, well now I'm right back to some equations that I had in 7.2. I want to gather everything with a variable to the left-hand side. So that means I want to get rid of this 6y. It's a positive 6y, so I'm going to subtract 6y from both sides. Let's see what that does for us. 2y minus 6y is negative 4y. Plus 1, those disappear, is equal to 3. So look, all my variables are on the left-hand side, which means I don't want this anymore on the left-hand side because it doesn't have a variable. So how do I get rid of adding 1? I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides of the equal sign, which means that negative 4y, these will disappear, are equal to 3, and negative 1 is 2. We're almost there. The y is now being multiplied by negative 4. I want to undo that multiplication by dividing both sides by negative 4. Cancel. Y is equal to, make sure you reduce this fraction. The top and the bottom are both divisible by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1 over negative 2. And remember, it doesn't matter where that negative sign is. It can be on the top, or it can be bottom, or it can be out in front. It doesn't matter. Just trying to get some lead out of my pencil here. There we go. All right, so there's A. Let's do B. How many sets of parentheses do you have in B? You've got 2 sets of parentheses. That means we're going to have to distribute not once, but twice. So here, let's distribute through the 4. So 4 times 2t would be 8t plus 4 times 2 is 8. Now this is a negative 6 times t. That's negative 6t. And a negative 6 times a negative 1, watch your signs, is plus 6. So step 1, get rid of the parentheses. Done. Step 2, combine like terms. We have 8t and a negative 6t. That's 2t. We have a positive 8 and a positive 6. That's plus 14. All right, well, here we go. We want to gather all of our variables to the left, which means I want to get rid of this negative t. How do I get rid of a negative t? I'm going to add t to both sides of my equal sign. Notice, by the way, when I add that t, how in all of my problems that I've done this, I've lined up my like terms just to make it easier on me. So 2t plus 1t is 3t. Plus 14 is equal to 6. And of course, these are going to drop out. So all my variables are on the left, which means I want to get rid of this plus 14 because it doesn't have a variable. So I'm going to subtract 14 from both sides of my equal sign. So 3t, those are going to cancel, is equal to 6 minus 14 is negative 8. Let's get the t alone. It's being multiplied by 3. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. This does not reduce, so we can just leave our answer as negative 8/3. Okay, we're going to do letter D next and come back to C. We won't skip it. We're just going to put it off for one more problem. So notice here, we again have two sets of parentheses, so we have to distribute twice. So 4 times A is 4A plus 4 times 3 is 12 is equal to negative 2 times A is negative 2A. Negative 2 times negative 1 is plus 2, and then the plus 30. Now we can combine like terms over here. I can combine the 2 and the 30. So I am going to have 4a plus 12 equals negative 2a plus 32. All right, so now we have to gather all of our variables to the left-hand side, which means I want to move this negative 2a. How do I get rid of negative 2a? I add 2a to both sides of my equal sign. That's going to give me 6a plus 12 equals, those will disappear, 32. All right, so now all my variables are on the left, which means I don't want this because it doesn't have a variable. So how do I get rid of adding 12? I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides of my equal sign. So I'm left with 6a. Those will cancel, equals, and 32 minus 12 is 20. Now, since the 6 and the a are being multiplied, I get rid of the 6 by dividing by 6. Those will cancel. A is going to be equal to, now this does reduce. I can divide both top and bottom by, not by 3, by 2. So 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we are done. Okay, so you should be seeing examples of everything you're going to see in your homework. So now look at this one. This one, it says first we need to get rid of parentheses. So note, these are not parentheses, so we're not going to get rid of these right away. We're going to work in here. When you have parentheses embedded inside the brackets, you always work from the inside out. So we're going to do our parentheses first. So we're going to distribute. So we'd have 3 brackets, A plus, now it's time to distribute, so 2 times A is 2A, and 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And we can go ahead and distribute on the right-hand side too. 4 times A is 4A, and then 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Now, you're going to get the same answer either way. You could do one of two things. You could immediately now distribute the 3 through the brackets to get rid of those. Or do you happen to notice that there's some like terms on the inside that we can combine? And I'm going to choose to combine those right away. You either combine them now or combine them later. But I think I'm going to combine them now. 1a plus 2a is 3a. So now we have to distribute through again because this 3 is being multiplied by this whole thing. So 3 times 3a would be 9a minus 3 times 4 is 12. Oh, this is a good one. I'm just thinking ahead to what the answer is, and I see it. So take really good notes because this can happen. All right, so we need all of our variables on the left. So I want to get rid of this plus 4a or positive 4a. I'm going to do that by subtracting 4a from both sides of the equal sign. 9a minus 4a is 5a minus 12 equals negative 12. So look, all my variables are on the left, which means I want to get rid of this minus 12 because that doesn't have a variable. How do I get rid of minus 12? I'm going to add 12 to both sides. I'm just kind of squeezing it in here. So I'm going to get 5a. Those are going to disappear. Equals, oops, what's negative 12 plus 12? That's 0. That's okay. Don't panic. I still just simply need to get the a alone. It's being multiplied by 5, so I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Those will cancel. A is equal to, and what's 0 divided by anything? We actually got 0 as an answer. All of that work for 0, but that's okay. All right, our last example that we're going to do here today. So notice there's really a negative 1 here, and we've talked about this when we started chapter 6. So I'm going to have to distribute that negative 1 through. So I'm going to end up with 5x squared. I don't need to write this first set of parentheses. Plus 3x plus 6. Negative 1 times 5x squared is negative 5x squared. Negative 1 times 9 is minus 9 is equal to 2x plus 7. Now I know you may have been panicking about that x squared thing. But look, when I go to combine like terms, what's 5x squared and negative 5x squared? Those are going to cancel out, so don't panic. Now I can also combine the positive 6 and the negative 9. So 3x, what's positive 6 and a negative 9? That's minus 3. Okay, now I'm back to my equation that I've done about 8 of them in the last 2 sections. So I need to gather all of my things with my variables to the left. How am I going to get rid of this plus 2x? I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides of my equal sign. 3x minus 2x is 1x. You can put the 1 there if you want. Minus 3 equals, these are gone, 7. All right, I need to get the x alone. Right now, 3 is being subtracted, so how do I undo that? I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And finally, I get x, those cancel, is equal to 10. And you are good to go for section 7.3.